At Ohio Corn and Wheat, we take leadership development seriously. That's why each year we host the Emerging Leaders Academy. It's a hands-on 2-day program designed to help farmers and ag professionals get more involved and take the next step into leadership, whether that's serving on the association board, our corn checkoff board, or the wheat checkoff board. Joining me today are two alumni of that program, as well as two of our newest board members, John Hummel and Derek Snyder. Thanks for being with us on Kernels, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Derek, let's start with you. Now that you've been on board, you've been on our board for a few months and have gone through the Emerging Leaders program. What surprised you most about stepping into leadership role in Ohio Corn and Wheat?
Well, growing up on our family farm, my grandparents and parents always encouraged us to be involved in organizations. So the farm was always members of, the commodity groups, Farm Bureau, Ohio Cattlemen's, Ohio Soy, and of course, Ohio Corn and Wheat. So now being able to take a leadership role within Ohio Wheat as a checkoff board member, really putting all those pieces together, understanding, how a checkoff works, why it's important, what we do to help Ohio agriculture and Ohio wheat growers, by increasing demand and making sure we're producing a good product for the whole world to take advantage of. I think it puts everything together to see how it all works together over time.
So appreciate that, John. Similarly, for farmers watching who've never really been part of a program like this, what really happens during those 2 days?
Yeah, Todd. So we just really went through basically all the what the nuts and bolts of how these boards work together, how they go commingle, how we can fit into them, how they benefit the Ohio farmer. And it was really interesting to see all that, along with some other natural board just qualities and side notes that help a board member get prepared for a meeting and whatnot. That's basically what the gist of it was.
Yeah, because we don't have county programs at Ohio Corn and Wheat or large committees for members to serve on, it's really difficult to get a sense of what would it be like if I joined one of these boards. And so this program really is created to simulate, if you were on our board, here's what life would be like. Here are the issues you'd be dealing with and those type of things. And so appreciate both of you taking time away. But that's the next question. Both of you, the thought of taking 2 days away from your farm, away from your job, and spending it, with Ohio Corn and Wheat, it's sometimes you're thinking, is this going to be worth it? So now that it's behind you, was it worth it?
And one of my favorite quotes is, the world is ran by those that show up. So by showing up and getting engaged, you're understanding how, again, have John mentioned, everything works together. Being a new board member, I realized there were 3 different boards, but now understanding how each board, as John says, works together, what their roles and responsibilities are within the organization, as well as what their roles and responsibilities are for the Ohio farmer that either pays their membership dues or has funds come from their grain for the checkoff. I think it really puts it all together, and taking that time away from the farm was well spent.
A lot of times we hear the term of, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And these boards gives us a seat at the table, and it's really important. I mean, we've got the huge E15 thing going on right now on the corn side of things, and having a seat at the table, I think the 2 days that we spent there, it was well worth it, getting us prepped as new board members, and also, like Derek said, learning how everything works. And yeah, it was time well spent, especially in January. It was cold. Not a whole lot happening on the farms on the grain side of things, but it was well worth it to meet some new people from around the state, plus to get to learn, the nuts and bolts of how Ohio Corn and Wheat operates.
Well, we do it in February on purpose so that we stay away from farming season. But if you're talking to a farmer who's always kind of been interested in leadership but never really quite knew what the first step is to take, what's your advice to them as leaders? Start with you, John.
Yeah, Derek and I, of course, aren't real new to leadership with being involved with Farm Bureau and a few other boards, but it's like Derek said, it's showing up. It's being part of the community that helps your fellow farmer, and you can really do some good there. And as young guys getting involved, I feel it's extremely important to step up and be in these roles. First of all, and we heard in our board orientation and in the emerging leader program, the amount of knowledge we can consume from being on these boards before it hits the mainstream media, really even. And I really get excited about that, because when we can take that cutting edge knowledge back to our farms, it's going to help us in the long run. Plus, being active, you just get to talk to so many different people, build so many different relationships that can that can help you, in your business flourish. So,
Derek, what's your advice?
Well, as you mentioned, Tad, with this being the Emerging Leaders Conference, it's really a great test drive for those individuals that want to become involved in these different types of boards that may not understand what they do or how they work. So by having this 2-day free test drive, you could understand, okay, is this some type of organization I truly am interested in? I understand how it works now, but is it something I want to grow and develop in my leadership role by being involved in? By being engaged in this 2-day event, this Emerging Leaders Conference, you can understand, okay, this is something that gets my wheels turning. And as John said, help benefit us to take information back to our own family farms, as well as share that knowledge with other Ohio farmers to understand what Ohio Corn and Wheat does in order to improve our bottom line as producers.
Yeah, two things I'll just add to this. An emerging leader has no age. They could be somebody that's farmed for 20 years and just now deciding, I kind of like to volunteer some of my time and find out if Ohio Corn and Wheat is where I'd like to do it. The Emerging Leaders Program is certainly a place for them as well. Or if you're new to farming, it doesn't matter. But it's certainly not just a young farmer event. It's one for any farmer out there. And the second thing is, even if you don't decide to join our boards, there is a social aspect to this as well. And so farmers getting to rub elbows with other farmers, building your network. John mentioned the relationships, and that matters a lot, I think, in farming. And sometimes we just don't have an opportunity to get to know other farmers. This is one of those things. So I hope that both of you found that enjoyable as well.
Very much
absolutely.
so.
Anybody looking to join our Emerging Leaders Program can do so by going to ohiocornandwheat.org.